Guys, this is unreal. This is absolutely unreal. Do you guys see what this standby entrance wait is for Kilimanjaro Safaris? 5 minutes. Should we go? I think we should go. All right. I made an executive decision. Me, myself, and I. We're going on Kilimanjaro Safaris together. It's unreal, right? 5 minutes? I've never seen it say 5 minutes ever in my life. Oh my goodness. So much walking. Normally you're waiting in lines, but it's crazy, guys. All right. So on to Kilimanjaro Safaris we go. I don't think I've ever walked through the regular queue. It's very cool. Looks like you're in Africa. Let's see. Also, the most bizarre thing is normally you follow the crowd. And guys, this is my crowd. You see them? How bizarre is that?
They have very different meanings in the animal world.
This queue feels so long, Cassie.
This might appear to indicate fatigue, but in fact, a bull hippo's awesome run is actually.
And while I'm walking, you guys can see all the social distancing markers that I'm actually able to bypass right now because the wait is 5 minutes long.
Clean your hands often and thoroughly. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing and sneezing, and maintain physical distancing. Thank you.
Of course, Tammy, thank you for joining us. Now, if you guys want to hear everything about our past couple days at Magic Kingdom, we did drop our show today. You can find us, we're a couple of park hoppers. You can find us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Guys, this is absolutely unheard of, walking through here. Usually there's hundreds of people. It must be 25%. All right, so we're, oh my goodness. I'm gonna show you guys. Look at this. I'm like between the two barriers. There's a barrier right here and a barrier right here. I feel like I'm being squeezed into something. All right, guys, so I'm not going to be talking a lot while we're on the ride, okay? So I'll talk to you after this is done. All right, here we go.
I got some friends back there, so.
All right, so here we are.
So Jumbo, everybody, my name is Kylie, and I will be your safari guide throughout the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. I do have a few notes for everybody. Please stay seated at all times, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside this vehicle. This is an actual moving vehicle, and I am actually driving this vehicle. So for your driver, please stay seated at all times. Also, hold on to hats, glasses, children's cell phones, any loose items that you guys might want to keep. If anything does fall out of the vehicle, I cannot stop to retrieve it. So please hold on to everything tightly. All right, my friends. So this first part of the reserve right here, this is called the Little Ituri Forest. The Ituri Forest is a heavily dense area, but the animals in here absolutely love that. That's because they can hide pretty well from their predators. Hiding from their predators most likely is going to be their only defense against them. And right back over here off on our right hand side, just past this rock wall up here, you're going to see two okapis back over here. A lot of people believe that the okapis are part of the zebra family because of their black and white coloration on their legs, but actually their closest relatives are going to be giraffes. That's because they do have the same skeletal structure on the inside. There they are back over here off on our right hand side, just past those bamboos. Also, if you kind of want to consider, they're kind of like miniature giraffes. But actually, that's actually a pretty rare sighting for us because they're very shy and seclusive animals, and they're rarely out in the open like they are, but they are still kind of hidden because of their predators. As we're making our way over here, there's a better view of them over here off on our right hand side. Off on our left-hand side, we're going to see a watering hole over here. This watering hole has been known to attract some black rhinos. Black rhinos are more forest rhinoceros, so hopefully we might be able to see one here in the little Ituri forest. They're one of the smaller sizes of the rhino species, weighing up to about 2,000 to 3,000 pounds. To us humans, that doesn't seem so small, but in the rhino world, that actually is pretty small. Actually, right over here off on our left-hand side, kind of snoozing away over there in the shade, we're going to be able to see a black rhino right there. Unfortunately, friends, there are less than 5,000 black rhinos left out in the wild. That's because they are being poached for their horns. Their horns are keratin. Keratin has absolutely no medicinal value, no medical value whatsoever. We humans know that firsthand. Well, that's because of our hairs. Our fingernails is keratin. It's the exact same thing as the rhino's horns. Their horns are the exact same thing as our fingernails. But it's truly sad that they are losing their lives for items that's not even valuable to us humans. They're about to have 1,000 times more layers than what we do. That's about the only difference. Over here off on our right hand side, kind of walking away from the vehicle, we're going to see a black and white stork right there. It's actually a saddlebill stork. If it turns its head, or you can see the yellow part of its bill, that's what gives it the name, the saddlebill stork. They're roughly around about 4 to 5 feet tall with over a 9-foot wingspan. So they're very, very large birds. Over here off on our left-hand side, we're going to see some bongos. These red copper-colored animals are the bongos. They do have the nickname of ghosts of the forest. That's because they are rarely seen. They're one of the heaviest forest antelopes, weighing up about 500 to 900 pounds. And right back over here, I don't know if everybody can see it, but just beyond these bushes, there's going to be a dark tan brown antelope back over there. And you can kind of see her head poking up out of the bush. That is a greater kudu. Greater kudus are one of the tallest antelopes in Africa, just roughly around 55 inches off their shoulders. Now, friends, we did see several exciting animals in the forest, but there was a lot of water back over there, so we must be making our way towards the Safi River. Let's head on over here to see if we can try to find some Nile crocodiles and some Nile hippopotamus. Hippos are nocturnal animals, so they spend most of their day asleep, but they also spend most of their day underwater. So yes, hippos can sleep underwater. They can hold their breath up to about 5 to 8 minutes at a time. When hippos go underwater, they'll scrunch their nose, hold their ears down, that way no water leaks through, as they walk along the bottom of riverbanks. Hippos can swim, but they don't really prefer to. That's why they will stay in shallow river waters, but they do stay in water deep enough to get them completely submerged. Right over here off on our left-hand side, we're going to see some pink-backed pelicans right over here. Pink-backed pelicans get their nests when the coloration of their back feathers turn during mating season. Both male and females will attend to their nests once they are fully built, and they have young ones on the way. Now, talking about the hippos a little bit longer, when they are born between 60 and 110 pounds. Females can weigh up to 3,000 pounds fully grown, while males vary between 3,000 and 5,000 pounds. So yes, they're actually a lot larger than that black rhino that we just seen. There's 2 hippopotamus right here, kind of swimming right next to us. This one I do believe is getting ready to pop its head up here in a minute or two. You can kind of see its ears folded down, if you guys can see it anymore. It's kind of hard to see because it's right next to the vehicle. But they have their ears folded down to make sure that no water gets inside of them. Now, hippos are the most dangerous animals in all of Africa. That's because they are extremely territorial creatures. But they're actually far more dangerous than these Nile crocodiles. But these guys are still dangerous all themselves because they have a bite force of 2,000 pounds. And they can grow to be well over 16 feet long. To give you an idea of what that is, think of an adult giraffe. Diet mostly contains of birds and fish, but if a large prey is unfortunate enough to get really close to them, crocodiles most likely will not miss your chance to try to get them. That's because in a single feeding session, they can eat over half their body weight in food. They're weighing up to about 500 pounds, so that's well over 250 pounds of food that they can consume at one time. That's actually enough food to last them for an entire month. Now, the plant life over here is starting to thin out quite a bit, so we must be heading towards the savanna. The savanna is home to millions of different animals and a lot of different plant species. One different plant species is coming up over here off on our right-hand side. That will be this baobab tree. Baobab trees are very unusual to us because they do appear to be upside down, but they're not, I promise you. They just go leafless up to 9 months out of the year in order to conserve water. They're also known as trees of life. That's because their trunks can hold thousands of gallons of water, and animals do whatever they can to get the water out during the droughts. Now, the wide open space here in the savanna plains allows the animals to use their speed and their agility to avoid the predators. All animals in the forest would hide from them because there's more of those hiding spots available there. Now, up ahead of us, the first two animal species that we're able to see out on the Savannah Plains today are going to be the Hartman's Mountain Zebras and the Springboks. So the Hartman's Mountain Zebras are right over here. They're actually one of the smaller sizes of the zebra family. They have thinner striping to them too, but no two zebra stripes are ever the same. It's about as unique as what our fingerprints are. They're very unique because of the skin fold that they have on their neck. It's called the dewlap, and that's actually how they can regulate their body temperature because of the blood circulation that can go through there. Now behind them are the small little antelopes over there. Those are the Springboks. They're kind of laying down. They get their name from their ability to jump 6 feet up in the air from a standing position. They're roughly around 2 feet tall, weighing up to maybe 100 pounds. But what they lack in size, they make up for in speed, because they can run speeds well over 50 to 60 miles per hour. So we were just talking about one of the smallest. Well, here's one of the largest antelopes in Africa. These are the Patterson's eland. This one right here, kind of laying down in the shade, he's the largest one. He is a male. He's the one that gives him the largest antelope title. That's because when he stands up, he's 6 feet at his shoulders, and he's weighing up to 2,000 pounds. So he is a very massive antelope. The other ones around them are most likely females. They're actually just about half the size of what the males are. Ooh, right over here moving around off on our left hand side, we're going to see some African wild dogs or African painted wolves. African wild dogs are very successful hunters. They're actually more successful than a pride alliance. That's because these guys can work very well together in their pack to bring down their prey. They have very good teamwork. These guys can actually run their prey down to 100% complete exhaustion. Their prey actually collapse from exhaustion. That's how far those dogs, or those African wild dogs, can actually move their prey. So that's how they have very successful hunting rates. As we're traveling through the savannah, there's going to be a lot of these oddly shaped mounds. These are the termite mounds. They're made of 3 different components, such as saliva, dirt, and dung. Sitting out in the hot sun all day, they can bake as hard as concrete. Once they get like that, larger animals like the elephants and rhinos will use them as scratching posts. But as they get wore down enough, smaller animals like the antelope and the gazelles will use them as lookout perches for the predators out in the tall grass. Now over here off my left hand side, you can kind of see it walking around over there. That dark brown antelope, that is a sable antelope. Sable antelopes are the official emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. So the animal in the reserve's logo, that's what they actually look like in real life. Predators know not to mess with those antelopes. That's because they have been known to pick fights with lions, and they actually win most of those fights. So they are very fearless, and they will not back down from any fight from any predators. To actually tell which one is the most dominant of the herd is the one that has the most, the darker color of coat. The darker the coat, the more dominant the animal is. So there's going to be a couple more Hartman's Mountain Zebras up ahead of us. Hopefully enough we'll get a better view of that dewlap. Again, the dewlap is a extra fold of skin, kind of dangles from their neck, and that's where they get really good blood circulation to help regulate their body temperature. There's actually one of our foals. I do believe we either have 2 or 3 foals. They're only a couple months old. The youngest one is about, I do believe, 2 months old. And that's one of the firstborn foals, so it's about maybe, I think, about 4 to 6 months old. Not entirely for sure on that, but I do believe it's about that old. Now, other animals that we might be able to get to see, they might be later on in the savannah, are going to be our white-bearded wildebeest. White-bearded wildebeest are one of the largest populating mammals in Africa. In a single herd, there could be as many as 1,000 of them, and I do see them coming up ahead of us. They can travel as far as 500 to 1,000 miles out of the earth. Wildebeest is actually an Afrikaans word, and it does mean wild beast. That's because they do look like a lot of different animals put together. So they are beasts from the wild. That's where they'll get that name of wildebeest. Right over there in the palm tree lining, you're going to see some animals with large horns. Those are going to be the Nkoli cows. Nkoli cattle are the only domesticated animals on this entire reserve. They're actually known also as Watusi cattle. That is named after the tribe that first domesticated them. Although those horns are going to look pretty heavy, they're not. They actually have a honey-like construction on the inside that is full of blood vessels. That's how the animals can regulate their body temperature. It's kind of like their own personal radiators. Over here off on our left-hand side, we have found a tower. That's right, a tower. Not a tower of buildings, but a tower of giraffes. These specifically are going to be the Maasai giraffes because of the patterns of their coat. They're jagged and irregular. All right, friends in the back, please make sure everybody is seated for me. Thank you. Males can grow to be about 18 to 20 feet tall. Females are roughly around 16 to 17 feet. And then calves or babies, when they're born just about 6 feet. They do have to be that tall in order to reach their mothers for nutrients. Now, as we're making our way over here, I do see a lot of trees that are either knocked over or broken, so we must be making our way into some elephant country. Elephants are kind of like nature's natural bulldozers. They actually will push the trees over, trying to get down to the tree roots. That's one of their most favorite snacks. keep our eyes open because the elephants kind of really do like to hang around these parts because of the large watering holes over here. So we're going to keep our eyes open to see if we can find any. Usually females like to hang around these parts because they're able to socialize with other animals. Female African elephants are actually very sociable creatures, and they'll travel quite a bit of ways to socialize. There they are, right over there off on our back right hand side. You're going to see two female African elephants over there. That's most likely going to be a mother-daughter pair, and like I was just talking about, they will kind of travel a little bit further away from their herd to socialize with other animals or to search for food and water. Female African elephants are actually ran by a single female. She most likely will be the oldest and the wisest, and she is called a matriarch. Now the matriarch is one that makes all the decisions for the entire herd, whether they might have to migrate somewhere, stay put, whatever that decision is, the matriarch will finalize that decision. Now, male African elephants are actually the exact opposite of the females. They're very seclusive animals, and they will spend most of their adult lives completely by themselves. Now, when elephants are adults, they actually have the second longest childhood period. We humans hold the longest for the mammals. So for elephants, by the time that they are adults, they're roughly around the age of 13 to 14 years old. For males, they actually will start that separation process roughly around the age of 12. That doesn't give them an additional year to get used to being out on their own. That's because if males do not leave before they are 14, before they reach that adulthood mark, the matriarch kicks them out. She will literally force them out of the herd, regardless that is where they were born and raised. So that's why the males do have to be prepared and out on their own. Now, once females are old enough to leave their mother's side, they will, but they will not leave their mother's herd. Once a female is born into a herd, that's where she will stay for the rest of her life. Well, sadly, friends, every single year we are losing thousands and thousands of elephants because of poaching. Poachers will take their lives for their tusks, but their tusks are ivory, and ivory is bone, so it is part of their teeth. It does help them eat, lift heavy objects, and for themselves all these different reasons. That's why the elephants have their tusks. But poachers will take their lives to sell this tusk out on the black market, and people are still buying items from there. That is what is encouraging the poachers to continue to harm these amazing creatures. So some ways we are able to help out the elephants is just by simply recycling. Specific items are going to be old electronic devices such as old tablets, laptops, and cell phones. That's because there's metal inside them that will contain coltan. Coltan is what is destroying the elephants' homes because it is the mining of that material. So even recycling one device is a phenomenal way to help out these elephants, help out these animals, because it will be able to save their homes. There's another mother-daughter pair right over here. That's actually the calf right there is the youngest one out of the herd. She's roughly around 3 years old. She actually recently started growing in her tusks within the last year. So that young calf still has a little bit more time to spend with her mother. Usually females will actually start leaving their herd a little bit sooner because they get more comfortable. Coming up ahead of us over here off on our left hand side, we're going to see some really pink animals. We're going to see some greater flamingos. And right over here off on our left hand side, if you guys look down towards the ground, you're going to see little gray footballs everywhere. These are baby flamingos. The youngest one that's right over there off on the other side, standing right next to its mother. The youngest one is about a week old.
Do you guys see the hidden Mickey?
Maybe almost a month old. So let's get a better view of that baby. Yep, there's the smallest one right over there off on our left. The greater flamingos are the largest in the lightest shade of pink. Like their names imply, they are the largest. They get their pink coloration from their diet of small brine shrimp. In that brine shrimp, there is a component called beta-carotene. Carotene is what turns their feathers pink, starting at the age of 2. So beforehand, when they're born, as you guys can see, they're completely gray. So it does take quite a bit of that shrimp to turn their feathers entirely pink. These babies have quite a long time before they will look like their parents. Now, a group of flamingos like that is called a flamboyance. That's what a group of flamingos are called. Now it does look like we have made our way over into the eastern part of our reserve. Yeah, definitely the eastern part, because up ahead of us we're going to see some white rhinos. These are definitely white rhinos. They are doubling the size of black rhinos. They're mostly roughly around 5,000 pounds each. So they're very massive animals. That's one difference to tell them apart is their size. Another difference is because we see 3 of them really close to each other. So they're sociable animals, where black rhinos are more solitary animals. Alright, friends in the back, please make sure everybody is seated. White rhinos will travel in large crashes, where black rhinos are more solitary animals. Now, the most definite way to tell from black rhinos to white rhinos is not by the color of their skin, but actually by the look of their mouths. So if you guys can kind of see, I don't know if you can see it, but they have very large mouths. Their lips are long and flat, where black rhinos' mouths are pretty small, and their lips will droop down into a point. So white rhino's names are actually not supposed to be white. Their names come from the misinterpreted Afrikaans word of weit, which means wide, not white, wide. But since there was that misinterpretation, that's how we know them as white and black rhinos today. Actually, all rhinos have the exact same skin color, which is ironically a light gray, so neither white nor black. But again, it's just because of the misinterpretation of the Afrikaans word is what gave them their names today. Alright friends, so right over here off on our farthest left hand side, they're going to be extremely hard to see, but if you look back towards where it's pretty shady, you can see its tail moving. There's a cheetah over there. There's actually two cheetahs, but the second one is really hard to see. So in the kind of the more shadier part back there, where all the little trees are, you're going to see two cheetahs. Cheetahs are one of the fastest land animals. They can sprint speeds up to about 60 miles per hour, but only in a quick sprint. It does take a lot of energy for them to move that quickly. So about a couple hundred yards. Their tails, you can kind of see the one that was flapping around. Their tails are very long. It's about the same length as their backs, and they're pretty heavy because they're full of muscles. As the cheetah is running after its prey, it's going to spin its tail like a propeller to help maintain its balance. So if the prey takes a turn, that's how the cheetah will be able to. If not, without their tails, they can only run in a straight line, and their hunting rates would actually plummet because they couldn't turn very well. Now this area right over here, this large rock formation, this is called a kopie. Famous cats like lions live over here because they do have such a high vantage point over their prey. Now lions are kind of lazy. That's because they spend about 16 to 20 hours a day inactive. They are mostly active at night. That's when the female lions or the lioness will hunt, while the male will stay back to protect his territory. And if there are any around, he will protect his cubs as well. Now at night, if the male has no cubs to protect and he knows his area is pretty much safe in the night, he will join the females out on the hunt. That's because males are slightly better hunters than what females are because of their great speed and their power, but females are the ones who will make up most of the prey. Actually, during the day, they can see just as well as what we humans can, but at night, their eyesight actually gets 6 times better. That's why they do prefer to hunt at night. They also love to use the cover of darkness out of either golden yellow fur. Just like regular domesticated house cats, lions can actually walk very silently because they have extremely padded paws. So they can sneak up to be right behind their prey without that prey knowing there's a 500-pound cat right behind it. But knowing all those factors, their paws, the cover of darkness, and their eyesight, 1 out of 15 lion hunts are successful. Coming up right over here off on our right hand side, we're going to see some bonteboks right over here. We see 2 bonteboks laying down over here in the kind of the sunlight, and then a little further back we're going to see a larger antelope that is a water buck. Water bucks are kind of funny looking, or not funny looking, but they're funny to us because they have to drink such a large amount of water, and they don't really migrate in the fear of moving too far away from a water source. Those bonteboks are actually very unique to us here in the Harambe's Reserve. That's because in the early 19th century they were considered to be the most rarest antelopes in the entire world. They actually were so rare that there was less than 17 of them. That's because they were poached very badly for their meats, their coats, and their horns. But due to conservation, the populations have been growing not super well, but there is definitely a lot more than what 17 was so long ago. So we're fighting hard every single day to help save these animals. Now this area right over here, this is very special to us here in the Harambe's Reserve. That's because we are using this area to help reintroduce some animals back out into the wild. The current animal species that we're trying to reintroduce is called the scimitar horned oryx. Scimitar horned oryxes were considered to be extinct out in the wild as well because they were poached very badly for their meats, their coats, and their horns. But due to conservation for them, their populations have been growing extremely well. That's why they do qualify to be in areas like this here that does help them get used to the wildlife conditions. Specialists watch them to make sure that they are able to survive out on their own, to make sure that they are able to take care of themselves and hopefully some offsprings. Once they're able to go back out into the wild, that's when they get released on protected grounds, so hopefully they can survive and thrive. And right over here off on our left hand side, this is the scimitar horned oryx. This is actually one of my most favorite animals on the entire reserve. So scimitar horned oryxes get their unique name by the shape of their horns. Their horns are the exact same shape as the scimitar sword. That's where they get their cool and unique names. They're actually also extremely unique because they can go up to about 9 months without taking a single drink of water. That's because they are desert antelopes and they get most of the water they need and food they eat. So they're very incredible animals. Alright my friends, so it does look like we have now reached the end of our reserve. I do want to give you all a big asante sana, that is Swahili for thank you. So asante sana friends, for joining me onto the Kilimanjaro Safari ride for one of your many African wild adventures today. If you guys don't want your African adventure to end just quite yet, head on over next door to the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. Up there you might be able to see some naked mole rats, meerkats, there's some underwater view tickets, some hippos, it's got bird sanctuary, so many more exciting animals. If you don't want to stop there with your African adventure, head on over to the conservation train station. Over there you might be able to take a train up to our kind of our veterinary center where you might be able to talk to some of the keepers, to learn more about the animals. And there's also a drawing station there where you guys are able to draw your favorite Disney characters. So friends, here in Harambe, we do not like to say goodbye. It's way too sad, far too final. So instead, I'm going to leave you with a kwaherini. That does mean go well in Swahili. So kwaherini, my friends, you guys go well, go wild, and enjoy the rest of your day here at the Disney's Animal Kingdom.
So just so you guys can see, there's a barrier between every row to allow for physical distancing and to keep us all safe, which is a very cool thing that they've done.